Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the Peak Politics Podcast. We are recording this on Saturday, July 11th, 2020. Today we'll be going over events of the previous week. This, like I said, is going to be our first official podcast, though we do have a 4th of July special uploaded on our BitChute channel that covers the Declaration of Independence. I'm here today, me being Andrew, with my co-host,
Wyatt.
And we're going to be discussing this week's events. Well, 10 of them that we thought were interesting. Now, There are a few events as of the hour, I would say, or recently. I've been awake for about an hour, so I'm going to say as of the hour, that are fascinating developments just today. We'll discuss those next week. The Roger Stone stuff is interesting, and the Wayfair stuff we think is interesting as well. But if you're looking to get information on that, just know that's not going to be covered at all in today's podcast. No. But those are today some of the breaking stories, some of the more interesting things being talked about. Yep. We're going to be discussing, we have 10 topics brought up today. Yesterday, the first one comes from yesterday. Wyatt, would you like to launch into it?
Yeah. So, first off, I want to apologize in advance if the mic quality for me isn't that great, because my mic decided to crap out on me because my cat...
Okay, that wasn't your mic deciding crap. Your cat decided that.
Yeah, my cat chewed through the cord, so I was forced to use the mic on my headset. So if it's a dip in quality, we apologize, and it'll be better.
Sometime in the next week or so, I will actually be visiting Wyatt. I promise to punt the cat for the audience.
Yeah, that was a joke.
No, it wasn't.
Andrew. Anyways, so
it was a joke. Yes.
Make that clear.
I attach them to cart batteries. I don't punt them.
I just want to make it clear that that's probably why that there's going to be a little bit of a dip in my audio quality. So
the dip in just generic quality of commentary, that's just because it's Saturday.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're not thinking right now. We actually, to be totally fair, we don't think at all. But
yeah, that's correct.
Thinking is not our forte.
No, not at all. Totally.
I mean, would you like to hear a story from today, Wyatt?
Yeah.
I woke up today and there was a fly buzzing around my house. Now, I like that raid, like flying insects, sort of raid can stuff. I think that stuff's great.
Yep.
So I reached for that, but I actually grabbed my WD-40 because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I nailed the fly, so that was nice. But there's WD-40 on the cabinets in my kitchen. So we're not thinking, people. Just want to let you know that up front.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, nice beginning story. All right, so
that's about how my week's gone.
Yep,
that's been the week for me right now.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, we can go ahead and jump into our first story. So, and this is from the Daily Mail, and like you said, all of the links that we're going to be mentioning.
Specifically, when I say from the Daily Mail, if I find Daily Mail articles ever to talk about in this content, it's because Tim Pool uploaded something about them. I never check the Daily Mail. So go give Tim Pool some love. He's a good journalist. He's more down the middle than we are. We're very right wing. So
yeah, very much so. Definitely not alt right. Just to make that clear.
Because alt right's technically left wing in the American sense.
Pretty close.
They're like a European, like Nazi-esque right. Because in Europe, European conservative versus American conservative, they're not the same thing. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, so just putting that out there for all those lefties that are like, oh, you're alt right. No, we're not. Not even close.
Okay, first of all, there's no lefties on BitChute.
You'd be surprised, man.
You'd say that, but it's not a content. It's not a place where I think they'd like to gather.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
New ideas they get exposed to. Ooh.
Yeah, that's true. All right, but anyways, all right. So our first topic today is that St. Louis gun couple that were in the news a couple of weeks ago.
The saving private property couple.
Yep.
That was the best. Let's talk about memes real quick, because the memes that came out of that were phenomenal, and my favorite one was the saving private property meme. That was amazing.
Yep, it was great. There's some really, really good memes there.
Like, it just had their name, and it was like the saving a private Ryan, like a movie poster, and just said, it was just them with like their guns, and it just said saving private property. It was phenomenal.
Yes, it was great. Great memes.
Good memes.
100%. So they actually have.
They're the best memes. That's not what I say. That's what everyone else says. It's the best memes.
That's everybody. Everyone just says it. It's great.
That's what they're all saying. Not me. That's what I've been told. The best memes.
That's what I've been told. It is the best of memes. So
yeah, they got arrested.
Yep. And they have had their firearms removed.
Now some of you might be asking, oh no, they got arrested. What charges are being brought against them? Nothing. There are no charges being brought against them at the moment.
There are zero.
Well, how did they get a search warrant? On what grounds was the warrant obtained? We don't fucking know.
Nope, we don't. That is something that we would definitely like to know.
We would like to know why you took these people. They took the other thing they did at the top of arresting the couple was they searched their house and they removed the AR from it. Yep. So the police have their AR. What exactly did they do to warrant that? Because generally speaking, now this is generally, when you break on someone's private property, as a mob, when you threaten their life, when you destroy their private property, and they bring a gun out, they brandish a weapon to clearly show their intent to defend themselves, that is not against the law. That's pretty well within the law.
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. Yeah, it's definitely within the law, especially for them because, it's like you said, and like it has been shown, they literally broke through into a gated community that is marked private property. You can't do that. You can't. You broke the law. And then you have the audacity, and this is what was claimed by the husband. He said that an individual went up and clicked 2 magazines together and said, "You're next."
They had a load of magazines and they were banging them together. They were
"You're next,"
clacking them together and saying, "You're next," or something. I think it was either "You're next" or "I'm going to kill you." It was the combination of the two. Also, listen, if you'd like to know, there's a scene in an interview with the dumber of the Cuomos. I can't remember. Chris Cuomo.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Not Don Lemon. I was
no.
My apologies. No, but yeah, you're right. It was Cuomo.
With Fredo. And
Fredo.
He laid out why he felt threatened. It was a pretty good interview. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you do.
Yeah, it was pretty good from getting information from the husband.
Oh, yeah, he explained himself thoroughly.
As far as Cuomo trying to tell him why would you do this?
But that actually was my favorite part of the interview. Was Cuomo going, well, this is just Trump's. He's retweeting this because it's a. It's Trump's review because it looks like the white resistance to Black Lives Matter movement. And the dude's like, I support Black Lives Matter. Yeah. And it isn't a matter of white resistance to anything. They were threatening my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you saying you wouldn't resist because maybe Trump would tweet about it? Because that makes you stupid.
Yep.
Which is kind of how I felt about it. I think that's kind of what I felt like Chris Cuomo was implying, and I guess that must be what this guy felt he was implying too. Because it's why does it matter that Trump tweeted about it? My life's being threatened.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care what Trump does. That's not the relevant part here.
Yeah, and then he had the audacity to be like, well, you weren't hurt.
No, he had the caucasity. What? He had the caucasity.
Oh, yeah, you're right, the caucasity. To ask him, oh, well, you weren't actually hurt, were you? But, dude.
Really, Cuomo, why do you think he wasn't hurt? Do you think maybe it has something to do with him brandishing a weapon?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a reason he wasn't hurt?
Yeah.
You idiot.
Exactly. Freaking Fredo.
There's a reason we call him that.
Yeah.
Part of it's a joke now because he said Fredo's like the N-word for Italians. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's close. And the other reason is because it's accurate.
It is.
Mr. Nipple Ring, who kills 30,000 people in a month because that just it seems fun to him. That guy's legitimately smarter than you. That should concern you.
Yep, it should. 100%.
Fredo.
Yep, Fredo. That's right.
Can I call him Chicken Alfredo because he's such a
Chicken. He's such a coward.
Such a coward.
Yes, perfect. Chicken Alfredo.
So our podcast is now calling him Chicken Alfredo. That's.
Yep. This is confirmed. This is our
Chicken Alfredo.
Yep. This is our move from now on. Whenever we mention him, yep, he's gonna be, yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
You tied that up real nicely there.
Yeah, I know.
All right, but that was the point. St. Louis couple. We don't know why they've been. Again, there's no charges thus far been pressed, according to the Daily Mail.
Which is insane. That's infringing
that could change really quickly.
Yeah,
and if it does, we'll definitely give an update next week. But at the moment, the prosecutor, I think, was considering charging them with something.
Yeah.
But doesn't know what crime they've committed. They don't know what they're going to charge them with.
Yeah, which is insane.
They've been arrested.
Yeah,
and they've had their property confiscated on the grounds of, well, we're searching for a crime to staple on your tack on here. It's
which is an infringement of both. it's definitely ridiculous. It's infringement on both their Fourth Amendment rights to unreasonable search and seizures, because what grounds do they have for the warrant?
Well, unwarranted or unreasonable. I mean, they have a warrant for it, but is the warrant legal is the question. If it's
that's what I meant.
If it's an illegal warrant, the other thing is, if it's an illegal warrant, anything you gain by that warrant is going to be fruit of the poisonous tree. You can't even use it in court.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to see if the warrant holds up. I don't know what grounds the warrant's based on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what threat were they posing? What did you submit to a judge that made the judge think, yeah, these people need to have their house searched?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd like to know.
Yep, we would definitely like to know.
Because I don't think it's legit.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. And then it also obviously infringes on the Second Amendment as well as the Fourth Amendment by, it says there clearly in the Second Amendment, this right shall not be infringed upon. Especially when it comes to situations like this.
I don't think you tied up that point nicely enough, Wyatt. When I say it's a violation of the Second Amendment, I mean they've removed their ability to bear arms from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them there, but they haven't presented a reason for it.
Exactly.
As far as I can tell, the warrant is technically speaking legal grounds for them to do it, but I don't know if the warrant's legit, and they haven't pressed charges against them. They don't know what they're going to charge them. So I don't know. I do not know, and I can't know if it's legit at all. I have to get the details of the warrant, which I'm fairly certain are illegitimate. So if this goes to trial, if we get any sort of public documentation of any hearings or whatnot, if we can just get somewhere on the public record what this warrant actually says, I'd really freaking appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I would like to see the contents of it and see on what grounds these two lawyers who defended their property have been arrested. These people are lawyers. Like, do you think they're stupid? Or they're going to rip you a fucking new asshole? Like, you're dead, man. You fucked with the wrong people. I hope you did, at least. I really hope they destroyed these people in court.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think it's really hilarious.
At the beginning of the podcast, but let's go ahead and put a language warning on here.
Oh, yeah.
R-rated.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. But yeah,
these two people are lawyers, so either they're going to be really good at writing themselves their own defense. I don't know what type of lawyer they are, or they're going to know someone that can. So I hope you have a rock solid case, because it looks right now like the DA there. It looks right now like they're about to get screwed.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's gonna get blown up in their face, 100%. I definitely think that's definitely something that is most likely going to happen.
My general thing is that, okay, so like right here, right now, I'm going to call for it before anyone else does. Mm-hmm. If they actually prosecute these people for anything, I would like to hold a rally in St. Louis at the mayor's house. I want to be in front of her house with guns.
Yep.
Just peaceful protest, no threats, no violence, peaceful protest. I want to be out there. I want to do like a pull of Virginia, basically. I want to stand outside these politicians' houses with guns and say, what are you going to do?
Yep.
So, that would be great if we as a community could organize that. I'd appreciate it.
Oh, that would be great.
Because this bitch, the audacity of this bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. 100%. Alrighty. Do you want to transition to the next topic?
Sure. Actually, this goes right into that. Actually, this kind of feeds in really nice. We're talking about some gun law stuff. So I was reading an article on TFB Firearm Blog about the ATF. Or rather, I saw a video on it on YouTube, which I then graciously they linked this article. So the ATF, according to Matt Gaetz, who has written a letter about this. By the way, Matt Gaetz has a podcast. We've not listened to Matt Gaetz' podcast, but he has one. If you're interested, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's called Hot Takes with Matt Gaetz.
Which is a great name.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's such a great
phenomenal
name. And for those of you who don't know...
we prefer alliteration, but he does a good rhyme. So...
Wait, what was that?
So we prefer alliteration, but that was a good rhyme.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And he is a Republican senator, to make that clear. For people that aren't aware.
Senator? Or...
Congressman. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I think he's House. I want to say he's House. Anyway,
probably.
We're just showing how stupid we are. It's not a good look. We could look it up if we wanted to. We just haven't.
Yeah, we just haven't.
But anyway, he has a good podcast going on. He wrote an interesting letter. But the ATF, to get back to the point, was considering basically changing some rules regarding the pistol braces.
Yep.
So if for those of you who don't know, if you go and buy an AR-15, it has under a certain length barrel. If you put a proper stock on it, it's considered a short-barreled rifle. You have to get paperwork to do it. But if you get a pistol brace on there, it's considered a pistol. No paperwork for it. No, you don't have to do any no NFA crap. So the interesting thing with that is basically there's a lot of people that do that. that get pistol ARs. I have an uncle that does this because it's for his property, home defense and whatnot. And it's just a convenient, small little carbine to work with. And he's got a pistol brace on it.
Yep.
If they change some of the rules regarding these things, and again, it's apparently being done in secret, so I don't know exactly what the ATF is looking to do. But the issue for me, the issue isn't what they're looking to do. It's the fact that they're actively plotting to change rules without congressional approval. Because the ATF is an executive branch. They can't make regulation and laws. But this is what they're basically trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's an overstep, basically, on their part.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, their existence is an overstep, but...
Yeah. No surprise there. And on another thing...
hide your dogs, because the ATF's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, you said your uncle has one. One of my friends has one as well.
They're really common. People that want that shorter length rifle to use for home defense or whatever purposes they have, or throw it in their car or whatever. It's just it's a convenient little carbine. And to avoid all these like expensive paperworks and stamps and whatnot, you put a brace on it.
Yep.
And they're looking to regulate these braces basically out of existence. Is probably what I assume they're trying to do. That's kind of a dick move.
It is.
And it doesn't do anything.
No.
Like, you understand.
It literally
I'm going to tell you exactly why it doesn't do anything. I have an AR right now that I'm building.
Yep.
And I have a 3D printer next to me. I can print out a full-length stock to put on my pistol. I can go buy a full-length stock. The only time that is actually... They have no ability to regulate that. I can put together a pistol with a proper stock on it and not submit paperwork for it. If they find out, then I get in trouble. But the actual building of the product, I can do that whenever I want.
Yep. And as long as you keep it inside your residency.
What?
And as long as you keep it inside your residency and you don't take it outside, then I'm fairly certain. How are they going to know? Yep. Yeah.
Well, it's still illegal if you have the item. And it's a violation of the NFA. It's a violation of the NFA. The problem is they don't know that unless you basically show it to them.
Yeah.
So you're not stopping anyone from having this weapon for whatever reason that this weapon is so dangerous. I don't know why. You're not stopping anyone from possessing it this way. You're just making it a pain in the ass to do it legally.
Yeah.
But the rule itself doesn't serve any purpose.
No.
Like it's incredibly weak.
Yeah, and it's also it's seemingly trying to I don't know. I'm not saying that this isn't their intention, but there's over 700,000 Americans who have
items like this,
places like this.
Yeah,
over 700,000.
Probably more, actually, when you consider people that. When you consider like the homemade ones or stuff like 3D printed ones, or or the ones that are being sold in the aftermarket or just the secondary market. You know what I mean? Like there's probably over 1 million people that are actively using items like this.
Probably, I would assume that's a good number to assume.
I know like 3 or 4 people myself that like these things.
Yeah.
So I assume there's a ton of people using these, probably more than 700,000. But at the very least, the definitive number that we know for sure, 700,000 people at a minimum are using these items, and would then all of a sudden no longer be legally entitled to it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yep. Yeah.
So the ATF is stupid, and that was our second topic for the day.
Yep. All right. So next is our third topic, which is Trump. What? Oh, sorry. My bad. I forgot.
All the gun stuff is to be done in one section. And to be clear about this podcast, Wyatt is a political animal. I am also a political animal. Mm-hmm. But my general leanings are much more in the activism sphere, specifically on guns.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, you will be getting segments every single week about guns.
Yep. And I'm 100% for this as well, because obviously our Second Amendment right is important. There's a reason.
It's literally the only right, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
That is. It says in the actual thing, you can't mess with it. Like the right itself is protected by itself.
Yes.
Like it's in the damned wording. Do not mess with it.
Yep. Shall not be infringed upon.
But what do? They mess with it.
They infringe upon. Yeah.
All right. So in the spirit of that, we're going to be doing the gun of the month. Now, in honor or in tribute to the St. Louis couple, the gun of the month is the AR-15.
Yep.
They're beautiful. Buy one.
Yep.
That's enough of that.
Yep. Definitely enough of that.
All right. Moving on to more substantive issues, because guns are cool and all, and this episode's cool and all, but more to politics, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. So our next topic. So my apologies for on that, Andrew, for jumping ahead.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
How dare you? You keep saying that, but how dare you? For those of you who don't get the
that's a Ben
reference,
Shapiro reference. I'm talking about Greta Thunberg because Piers is great, but the Greta
Oh,
Thunberg is
yeah,
way
yeah.
funnier. How
That's
dare
right.
you?
oh yeah, yeah. So yeah. Obviously, we're talking about well, he was talking about Greta Thunberg. The how old is
You
she
don't have
now?
to explain the
A teenager. Okay. All right,
You can just move on now.
All right. Well, guess we'll move on. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is Trump's speech from last week, from last Friday, and specifically, well, first I want to say that this was a very good speech, one of the best of his presidency for sure, if not the best, but definitely one of. I would say probably top 5. It's a really, really good speech, and that's pretty much all I want to say on it. Is as far as like my opinions of it, it was a great speech. I really want to focus on the mainstream media and their coverage of the speech, because it's ridiculous. It's such bullshit, and I'm not surprised by it. But at the same time,
I am a little bit though. To cut it on you, sorry, but I am a little shocked, and I'll tell you why. This is something we thought was worth covering.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, I totally expect like a spin, a half truth, an out of context quote. I get that. That's typical media malpractice. This absolute and utter fabrication is a little odd.
Yeah.
Like, they'll do it for certain things, but this is crazy how just completely and utterly made up everything about this is.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, it pulls out of thin air things that just simply aren't there.
Yeah.
Like, you had the congresswoman talking about this. We'll talk about this later. Tucker Carlson went after her, and she said, Trump was praising dead traitors.
Referring to...
he literally never mentions any of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
They don't come up in the speech. So if George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Teddy Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln are dead traitors, then get the fuck out of my country.
Yeah.
If that's what you think about these people, you can leave.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't care if you're a combat vet. F you. George Washington is a dead traitor. Get the F out.
Yep. Get out of here. No, but yeah. So, her, and then obviously the mainstream media. So, the New York Times, especially, is one that I definitely want to hit on. So, here's what they said. They said Trump uses Mount Rushmore speech to deliver divisive culture war message. Down in the polls and failing to control a raging pandemic, the president cast himself as a waging battle against the, quote, new far-left fascism, unquote. That
I want to hear a hilarious thing about the New York Times real quick.
Wait, what?
Want to hear? You said it right there at the beginning, failing to control a raging pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Later, we'll quote the New York Times about that, and you'll see that they're wrong.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Just something to look forward to.
Yep, 100%. So, back to the quote, to what they were saying. The president cast himself as waging battle against a, quote, new far-left fascism, unquote, that imperils American values and seeks to erase history. So basically, they're saying that, what he's saying, he's saying that he's waging battle against a new far-left fascism, blah, 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 that destroys American values and erases and wants to erase history. They're basically saying, he's bullshitting, he's lying. That is a lie. It is literally exactly correct.
I mean, it's the precise truth. Like, it is. It's not uncertain. It's not. He's not beating around the bush. It's directly what is happening.
Yep.
I mean, statues being torn down.
Yep.
Trying to defund the police. I mean, it is radical left-wing ideology attempting to absolutely gut the institutions of this country.
Absolutely. And then you also see by them touting, Independence Day, there were people who were touting Independence Day as a white supremacist holiday.
Yeah, I know. Right.
As a white supremacist holiday.
We're talking about you, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, hit you and then a whole bunch of your fellow
sycophanted retard followers. Sorry,
yeah,
that might have been a little too harsh. I mean, it was accurate, but it might have been harsh. Anyway,
yeah. And
here's
also,
thing. When he says it's a far left ideology we're fighting against, BLM claims to be Marxist.
Exactly.
They actually claim to be Marxist.
Yep.
That is their words, not ours.
No.
They are Marxist. That's a far left ideology. You don't have to like that fact, but that's the fact. On top of that, who is tearing down statues? Black Lives Matter protesters.
Yep.
So he is. You can go the Antifa route. You can go the socialist route. You can go the Black Lives Matter route. Like, all of these groups, just the Socialists of America, the Antifa crowd, and the Black Lives Matter, they're all in agreement, by the way. Generally speaking, there's a lot of overlap between those
100%.
But the Black Lives Matter movement, who is working with Antifa to tear down these statues, they are claiming to be Marxist. That is their words. They are Marxist.
Yeah, they are.
I find it funny when you use a guy that hated black people as the driving ideology behind a movement called Black Lives Matter. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It just shows how stupid you are.
Exactly. It's insanity. And then...
I wish I could channel the Hodge twins right now, because they would have some worse stuff. Go watch the Hodge twins on Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Hodge twins, they're great.
They're amazing.
Really, really great. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You nailed it.
They're phenomenal.
But
I wish I had the humor that they did about this. I mean, you're going to claim to be fighting for black people while using Marx as your inspiration? You've fallen off the deep end, my friend.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Sorry about that crashing noise. I don't know if you heard that, Andrew.
Oh, I did hear that. What the hell was that?
It was the AR falling over.
You can't let it touch the ground, Wyatt.
I kind of did.
I'm kidding.
So.
I'm kidding. It's not a flag.
Yeah, it's not.
Actually, you know what? That's actually funny. Okay, off topic. There's 1776 receivers, upper and lower receivers for ARs that actually do have American flag pattern on them. Are those allowed to touch the ground? Put in the comments below.
Yep. We would love to hear your thoughts on that, guys.
If I have an AR-15 and it's got American flag, camo, I guess, or skins or decals, anything on there that's American flag-esque, is it allowed to touch the ground?
That is a very valid question. Very valid question. And if it does, do we have to burn the part?
Because I can't really burn an AR-15.
Yeah, it's kind of...
I could put some lighter fluid on it, but I don't know that it would do anything but cook the optic.
Yeah, I don't know what it would really do.
My plastic sights might melt, but... I mean, beyond that, maybe some of my... No, I can't really think of anything else in there.
No?
Maybe the stock it would melt. Nothing that would actually cause the gun to not function.
Yeah, nothing. But yeah, anyways, so back to the main topic. And not only are, like you said, is he 100% correct on that, he also is correct about how the left has taken control of all of our learning institutions, and the
left has control.
They're brainwashing people.
They've had control of that. It's more.
Oh yeah. They've had control of it for a very long time, and they have been brainwashing.
Public education, man, it's terrible.
It is and they're actively, skewing history to be more
putting really crappy ideas in your head.
Yeah, for example, one lie that I remember learning, quote unquote learning in high school, was the party switch bullshit.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
That was something that legitimately was covered in my American history class.
I actually have a more egregious example of something like that happening.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can go ahead.
But it's similar to that. I mean, it's just it's not similar to that actually. It's so for the 4 years that I was at the high school that I was at, the first year I was there, the second year, and I think the third year. The fourth year, I don't think I saw this, but in my English classes, in 3 of those years, we had to watch this video from the newsroom on why America's not the greatest country in the world. It's entirely opinion, by the way. Some of the facts are wrong, and the rest of it's opinion. And then the other thing is, when you talk about best country in the world, that is really subjective. It depends on what you're looking for, right? Are you looking for certain types of data points? Maybe general health is your thing. Maybe standard of living is your thing. Mm-hmm. For me, it's human freedom. In which case, you can't make that claim that America is the worst country in the world, because it's patently false.
It is.
But still, we were shown a video with the newsroom clip. I'm seeing a lot of people have seen it, where the guy's like, "We're not the greatest country in the world. We used to be, and all this and the crap." And it's like, but a lot of this is just bullshit.
Yeah. 100%.
But I had to watch that 3 separate times. They really wanted me to know that the country I lived in was not the best country in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's disturbing. Education in this country has become very disturbing.
It is, and then it's like you were talking about, off air, about colleges. Do you wanna?
Yeah, there was some study, and I wish I remembered exactly what the source for this was. Someone may try and correct me on this. I really don't have the source, but someone said they did a study on people going into college, people exiting college, and the individuals that were entering university knew more about the American Revolution, about the founding of the country, more about the government, and more about the American ideals than people leaving university. Meaning either most people never learned about that and we just suddenly got a rekindling of it in the last 4 years, or you actually become stupider in university. I'm willing to believe you become stupider.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point.
I believe it. Very, very much so. Yeah.
I wish I had the source for that, because I would definitely put it in the description if I did. If I can find that, I will. I'll make it like a addition to the video. But
yeah, definitely. If we're able to find it, then we'll definitely put it in there. But yeah, man, and then also, they also are pretending, that none of this is going on. They're pretending that isn't going on. They're pretending that...
Oh my God, that cancel culture is not a thing.
Yep. Yeah, they're pretending that...
Construction of America, we're not doing that.
Which is 100%, again, 100%
It's
bullshit.
gaslighting.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
You're literally doing things, you're doing it in plain view, and then turning around and telling me you didn't do them.
Yeah. It's like that meme of the guy...
Unlike a Democrat, I can't avoid reality. When I see that shit, I think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't tell me you didn't just do what you just did.
Yeah.
I'm watching.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that meme of the guy who shoots that guy, and he was like, "Why would these people do that?" Like,
oh yeah, the Eric Andre show where he shoots the dude. Why would such and such do that?
Exactly.
You did that.
That meme fits this perfectly.
Not quite. It's more like shooting someone than saying it never happened.
Oh well, yeah, I guess so. It's pretty close, but yeah,
it feels the same way. It's the same sort of gaslighting, though. It's the idea, oh, you just did that, but you're gonna blame it on someone else or say it's not happening.
Yeah,
but we watched you do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then, so yeah, it's just so egregious, and I'm just tired of it, man. After almost 5 years since he ran, they have been demonizing him as a racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, all of that.
All about the guy that wins awards next to Rosa Parks and gets all this praise from Jesse Jackson becomes a racist the second he wants to conserve America's fiscal policy.
Yeah,
wants to get up there and approve of our founding ideas, and really his main thing was the economy and immigration.
Yeah,
he just wanted to maintain fiscal conservatism in America, kind of, sort of.
Yeah,
wanted to pull back and limit the government a little bit, pull back on some of those taxes. Frankly, he blew out the budget, so I'd say part of that was kind of a fail on his part.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
And then he just wanted to make immigration a little bit, not a little bit. He wanted to completely stop illegal immigration and make the immigration system better.
Yeah.
Was the general promise that Trump made. It was a populist argument. And it's how is this guy a racist? The dude won awards next to Rosa Parks. Can you shut the hell up? Again, I'm not stupid. I know what this man is. He's been in public life for how many years? You're gaslighting me. When you're telling me the gaslighting is their main tactic now, right?
Yeah,
trying to convince us we're crazy. And it's dude, this guy's been in public life for how many decades?
Yeah.
And the other thing is remember that this is a similar story about things where they just kind of they want you to believe something that's so obviously not true. Or maybe they're trying to piss you off, right? When they said remember what was it, who broke that, I want to say it was Rachel Maddow, maybe? But the tax returns. They got some of his tax returns leaked for a 10-year period. And it's look at this. Trump wants you to think he's a great businessman, but he was $1 billion in debt in the 90s. He wrote a book about that, you idiots.
Yeah.
He had a TV show where the intro was, in the 90s I was billions of dollars in debt. But just talks about how amazing he is getting his way out of that. He made it a selling point of his brand that he went from billions in debt to massive, back in the black, basically.
Yeah.
It's it's not a secret that he was in debt.
Yeah.
What the hell are you on about? Remember that for a week? It was oh, look how bad Trump is business. Nancy Pelosi commented, oh, of course he lost billions of dollars. This isn't news.
It's not. We already knew that.
You're so stupid.
Yeah.
Or do you think we're that stupid? Either way, shut the hell up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, they also...
Back to the New York Times. Back to the New York Times.
Back to New York Times. So, So they also, in this New York Times article, they also are saying, oh, he barely mentioned the frightening resurgence of the pandemic, even as the country surpassed 53,000 new cases Friday. And this was on the 3rd is when this was published. So it was that day. And then they said,
yeah, it sounds like Independence Day has nothing to do with COVID.
Yeah. And then,
isn't that strange?
Yeah, because his everything about the speech was about Independence Day and how great America is.
And he had a mention on COVID, which is really minor.
Yeah, it was very small, and that's all he needed to address.
This isn't about COVID. This is about Independence Day.
Exactly. It is about
and this is the thing is, here's the deal, right? That's a criticism of Trump, but imagine he had talked about COVID. You know how he would have phrased it. These terrible lockdowns that are stripping us of our freedoms.
Exactly.
He would have framed it in the 1776 view. We had talked about how evil the coronavirus lockdowns are. He would have talked about the terrible effects of the economy. He would not have framed it in the way you wanted for him to frame it. So don't tell me that him not talking about coronavirus is a problem, because if he had talked about it, you'd be pissed about that too.
Exactly. 100%.
He's wrong no matter how you cut it, which is the other thing. That's the other takeaway from the media, from this and from the other. Doesn't matter what Trump does, it is wrong. And we've known that for like 3 years or so.
Yeah.
That's been the case.
It has. It's always been the case.
But even when it's so obviously not true, they're still going to try and push that angle.
100%.
He did it, so it's wrong.
Yep, exactly. And so yeah, and so also branching out to some other ones too. Some other places they called the speech dark and divisive. Which, if you are an actual American who enjoys,
don't steal my words.
Huh?
Don't steal my words.
Okay, fine.
Quote me when you quote me.
Okay, fine. It's like you said, okay?
There you go.
If...
Attaboy.
You know... yeah, attaboy. Give me a pat on the back. It's just like you said, off air. If you are an actual American who values American values...
Yeah, if you love God, if you appreciate your countrymen...
Yeah.
If you enjoy your freedoms...
Yeah, then you don't find this dark and divisive.
Deeply unifying, I would even say.
Yeah, it's definitely unifying.
But if you are a communist, God-hating, race-baiting cuck, then I could see why you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, same here. And another thing,
losers.
even with that being the case, I don't understand how it's dark. How is it dark? He's literally being positive.
Well, yeah, you brought up a good point earlier. It's like he literally mentions that we want to go to Mars, you know?
Yeah.
Put a flag on Mars. That is like a straight up callback to JFK.
Exactly.
Can you remember a single article about how JFK, we're going to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard? Do you remember that being called dark and divisive?
No.
Because when you challenge Americans to rise to a higher standard, I've never considered that dark and divisive. This is ridiculous.
It is. And then he also talked about the really awesome executive order that he's doing to create a new national park that's going to put up statues of really awesome Americans, which includes some Americans whose statues were torn down, which is...
The other thing it also includes that I actually like about this is that a lot of these are non-governmental figures, which I really like. I like the fact that, because I think one of the issues I would say with America at the moment, in the way that our government does certain things, is that it's nice that we appreciate our founding fathers, it's nice that we appreciate all the people. These people are involved in government, though. Abraham Lincoln, I mean, these people are involved in government. One of the greatest things about America is what the private sector does.
Yep, 100%.
I mean, so I like the fact, I would like to see an Elon Musk statue. I mean, so I like the fact, Amelia Earhart, Frederick Douglass, you're seeing cultural figures and whatnot that have importance, that they're not government personnel. They're people that did good things for this country, they didn't do it for the government. So I like that messaging as well. Like the Rosa Parks stuff, I agree with too. MLK stuff, I like when we honor those people, because it's like, it's proof that in America, as a private citizen, you can really do a lot.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and it's just, and the thing is with that is it tout, or no, it doesn't tout, but it is very positive towards American values, and it's lifting up really awesome people that, like you said, are not part of the government sphere.
The sphere, government sphere, you mean?
Sphere. Yeah, government. It's not.
That's what I like about it. It's just like the removal. Again, like, a lot of these people inspired change in government, for sure.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm just saying that a lot of people fought against government tyranny.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass, MLK, I mean, Rosa Parks. That was government-enforced tyranny.
It was.
So I like the fact that we're honoring people. Like again, that's where I would agree. The founding fathers are great people to honor because they're anti-government effectively. They're anti-tyranny.
They are,
and they're quite good at it. So I do like that's what I like about honoring the founding fathers and honoring certain people like that. Is they're against government tyranny. Again, Abraham Lincoln, I guess you'd say in the same vein. But this is a personal note. I don't know what Trump's intent is for this, but for me, I like the idea that a lot of these people in here would not have been elected members of either party. They aren't bureaucrats. They're just straight up private citizens who did kick-ass things.
Absolutely, 100%.
So that I like.
Yeah, and then another thing that I really like about for sure. Another thing that I really like about this move is
some of them aren't, which is it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that I do like about this move, this executive order to create this park, is it's also sort of just a middle finger to all these people. Trump it is. Yeah, it's a middle finger.
This is his version of building a Trump tower.
Yeah, it's a middle finger to all those people who tear down statues because it's going to be a federal park, which means, and they've been doing they've been really enforcing the new executive order that he made a couple weeks back, where you will get 10 years of prison for defacing.
Well, that wasn't even an executive. He was just saying that we're going to do it, but that's state law anyway. That's just a statute.
Well, yeah,
defacing like federal property.
But they did start enforcing it more, and a lot of people have been arrested now. And this is more of a middle finger saying, "Yep, this is on federal land. So if you try to do this again, you're going to get prosecuted." And I love that is the fact that he's doing this for that reason, and also for the reason that you said.
Well, for me, it's more of like it's a very Trump move.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
Like tear down statues, like dude, I'm a New York realtor. I'll build them back up. Fuck you.
Exactly. Which is why it's so great.
He just builds shit. That's what he does.
Yep, he is a builder.
Oh, and that is another thing. Like where I see, I guess we'll talk about later. Kanye running and Trump running.
Yep.
They're both great at creating brands. Like they're really good at that. And one of the things Trump does, like as a matter of fact, is operating in New York real estate. The dude builds. Like he builds things up. Have you ever seen the left ever build anything up?
No.
I've seen them hollow out things. I've seen them tear things down. But the fundamental premise of a lot of these leftist ideologies is destroying what currently is, not building anything new.
Yep, and we'll get into that in a few minutes when we talk about. I
think utopia follows like sadistic and satanic destruction.
Yeah, absolutely.
How the hell do you get a utopia out of that?
You don't.
Precisely.
The falsehood. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we talk about the nice anti-Semite Ilhan Omar. Incestuous person. All right, so I'm to summarize.
I'd say that's the substance of our show, right? The main substance of it, just Trump's speech was something we really wanted to cover.
Yeah, for sure, because it's
all right. We've gotten away from that which made the essence of the show quite good. Let's move on to the. Well, it's downhill from here. Put it that way. Time to talk about stupid crap. So, a dead cat has received a mail-in ballot.
Yep, and this is in Georgia, Atlanta.
Where else?
And the thing is, and the thing is about this dead cat. The cat has been dead.
What, for how many years did they say?
12 years. The cat has been dead for 12 years, and then received a mail-in ballot for it.
So it was always my opinion that Democrats got like between 90 and 99% of the dead vote. I was unaware they got any portion of the dead like non-human vote. Like that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and the family even commented. They said,
"Who else is getting ballots?" Like one of the speeches, you know what I mean? That was in the article. Yep. It's like, who else is getting ballots, man?
Yeah, who else? You know,
what else is getting ballots?
Dogs, mice, snakes.
Because crap, my dog will vote. Just send me a. I'll vote for Trump. Just send me a ballot, man.
Yeah.
But remember that song? I think my dog's a Democrat.
Oh yeah.
Don't send my dog a ballot. On second thought.
Yeah, please.
He'll vote the wrong way, dude. In that song, he even said it. He even remember in that song he says, and the worst part is, if he could find a ride in town, I know they'd let him vote. They're literally sending voting stuff to animals now. The dude called it back in like 2016. They would let him vote if they could.
Yeah. Yep. They did. And
I not even made that connection until just now. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Hey, if you haven't heard that song, go look up. I think my dog's a Democrat. It's hilarious.
Yep. It is. It's very funny. So speaking a little bit more general about
government health, spread the wealth, socialist Democrat.
Yeah. So to broaden this out a little bit with mail-in ballots, obviously.
Oh, actually, can we go back to our previous point actually about gaslighting?
Oh yeah.
We were told that when Trump says mail-in ballots are for cheating, that's crazy. That's never ever happened. There's no examples of mail-in ballots used for cheating, Trump. You're just crazy.
Yeah. And then bam.
Like, well, this isn't even the funny thing. There's like 3 or 4 examples in between this, but this is just the most egregious one.
Yep. So
this is remember, like, what was it in New Jersey? They had to throw out like 20% of the mail-in votes because they thought they were fraudulent.
Yeah. So
and that was months ago. I mean, this is insane. Like, if you hadn't figured it out, mail-in ballots don't work. Like, they work, I guess, on a smaller scale. Maybe, perhaps. I'm so willing to bet there's a lot of fraud going on with them. But if you think that massive, like, universal mail-in ballots is a good idea, they're sending them to dead cats.
Yep.
I mean, I guess you can't beat a dead horse, but I guess you can get a dead cat to vote.
Yeah, and then mail-in ballots they're just so easy to commit voter fraud with. It's like you mentioned.
I don't know how easy it is. I just know that it's more possible. Like, I will admit, because again we're catching these errors, right? So I don't know how easy it is to get away with this stuff. Because if they're getting away with it, we wouldn't be talking about it.
I'm not saying easy to get away with. I'm saying it makes it easier to do it.
Well, here's what I'm saying. It opens up the possibility. Now, it doesn't make it like objectively easier. Hard to say, but it does offer more opportunity for it.
Yeah, 100%.
So you should expect that more cheating will occur.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like, if you're seeing dead cats getting mail-in ballots, right? What are we not seeing? Like, what is happening that is not being covered?
Yeah, 100%.
That's more terrifying, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's like you said. You referenced Tim Pool.
He had a mail-in ballot for someone that didn't even live in his house.
Yeah,
in New Jersey. He lives in New Jersey. So New Jersey. God dang. I just have family in New Jersey, and it's just really concerning to watch that state operate. It's like, woo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then we have more concerns in our next topic about New Jersey.
Oh, we'll be talking about New Jersey.
Yep. Okay. So yeah. But yeah. So basically, yep. Mail-in voting is awful.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. 100%. Yeah.
Of course, it's bullshit. It's bullshit, of course.
Yeah. Nice.
I think even he'll be able to vote. Do you think pigs will get mail-in ballots too?
Maybe.
Maybe Chen Cougar could vote too.
Maybe. We'll see.
I'm sorry, Chen. If you found that offensive, you can go fuck yourself.
Yep. Agreed. All right. So, is that
Can
really
we
all
sell dildos as merch?
Huh?
Can we sell dildos as merch?
I don't know.
Because when I tell people to go fuck themselves, I want to be able to profit off it somehow.
We'll talk about it.
Thank you. I want to have a conversation. If we are to sell dildos, in the comments, what dildos should we sell?
Oh gosh. Oh, this is bad. Okay.
Dude, the whole podcast is bad. That's the point. We don't know what we're doing.
That's true. You're right.
Okay, if any of you were under the illusion up until this point in the podcast that we knew what we're doing, put in the comments that we fooled you, because I'd like to know.
All right, moving on to some COVID numbers. So since the left wants to freak out about the cases,
the left wants to freak out about everything. They're perpetually on their period.
Yeah, agreed. But especially with COVID, and
yeah, but except the problem is the thing with them being perpetually on their period is that they're batch. What?
It's happening. It's always happening.
It's always happening. It's perpetual. But they're so batshit that they're just really not worth engaging. I guess that's my point. Yeah. A lot of the stuff they say is so batshit, you really just should avoid them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here we are having to confront this crap.
Yep. And
they live in our house, so we have to deal with them.
Yeah. 100%. And the thing is that this week that they were freaking out. I
apologize to our female audience who might find that offensive. I just want you to know that I don't give a shit about your opinion, and I value your viewership. Okay.
Anyways.
I don't value your viewership. That was a lie.
No. Anyways. So,
we officially hate women. That's our stance. Deal with it.
Oh, God. Nope. Nope, stop. No.
Wyatt, I'm gay. I just want you to know that this felt like a good opportunity.
Obviously. All those were jokes, obviously.
Every bit of it.
Alright, so
except
moving
your
on.
opinion, though. I really don't care. Like, if I cared about your opinion, I couldn't put out a podcast. I'd be too self-conscious. So...
I guess so.
So even if you comment things, just understand that we're not going to take your comments seriously. Like, we're going to continue to do this.
Okay.
You will continue to suffer.
Yeah. Alright. Anyways, moving on.
But you don't have to watch. You can opt out.
Back to the COVID thing. So this week, they were freaking out because people were suggesting that we need to make sure that our kids can go to school in the fall, which is supported by...
What?
What?
Do you think the cat died of COVID?
No, because he's been dead for 12 years. So.
He might have had COVID in the system when he died.
Who knows?
Everyone that dies is now a COVID death.
Yeah. But apparently not, according to statistics. So they're freaking out about...
I'm glad how all this connects.
Huh?
I'm glad how everything is interconnected in this, our little rant.
Yeah.
Makes it easy to make jokes.
Yeah, for sure. So with the COVID numbers, they're freaking out because of the rising in cases.
Yeah.
Which was always going to happen. It didn't matter what we were going to do. It was going to rise.
I think Ben Shapiro drives this point home really hard, and I think he's right to do it. What was the point of the lockdowns? The lockdowns were to ensure the hospitals could ramp up for a massive influx of patients. The lockdowns were not to stop the spread. They were to delay it. That's why the initial lockdown proposed, what was it, like a 2-week lockdown?
Yep.
That made sense. I'd have stuck with that. I'd have worn the mask. I'd have done everything for 15 days if that was the point. And then for sure we're open. But that's not what they did.
No.
So.
Nope. Yeah, and then now they're freaking out because we're getting a lot more cases now that we've reopened, and then also because of all of these protests and riots going on.
Oh, that was the other thing, the gaslighting crap going on. Because I think the media's gotten really good at that. Like they've reached peak gaslighting where they really get under my skin.
Yep.
The COVID numbers because of reopenings. Dude, reopenings happened like the beginning of May.
Yep.
For Texas, March for like Georgia and Florida.
Yeah.
It's like you're like 8 weeks behind. Sorry.
Yeah. And and according to the statistics, the rise in cases didn't start until June.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you don't see a rise in cases occur until early June.
Yep.
Was it early? No, it was like mid-June. But
yeah.
Anyway, you don't see this rise in cases occur until conveniently a couple weeks after these riots, protests, and lootings.
Yep.
So this idea that it was the openings is, well, it's wish fulfillment, right? Because they said initially that the openings were going to cause problems, and then they didn't cause problems. So the media caused problems, and then they said the problems that they caused were actually caused by the reopening.
Yep.
Like if there wasn't a crisis, make one, right?
Yep.
So make a big deal out of George Floyd, despite the fact that it's pretty. Listen, I'm not going to, again, I don't think we talked about George Floyd on the podcast yet. I don't want to, as our official opinion, I don't want to downplay the fact that the police was obviously wrong in that.
Oh, absolutely.
The problem is, it is, on the grand scale, a small incident. It's one unfortunate death. Mm-hmm. I would say the 30,000 people in New York that didn't have to die are a bigger story. But the idea that it's a widespread police brutality issue, and that's why you need to go out and protest, it's bullshit. It was ridiculous. It was never legitimate. It was not a correct narrative. And so, everything that's happened as a result of the media amplifying this case, which, by the way, the dude's going to get prosecuted.
Yep.
This idea, America's so evil. Yeah, it's so evil that we throw people in jail who do things that are wrong?
Yeah.
Can you shut the F up? No one in America agrees with what he did. That's why he's going to jail.
Exactly.
Because everyone who looked at that thought, oh, that's clearly a violation of the law. He assaulted that man.
Yep.
At the very least, it's manslaughter. So this idea that we as a country are okay with that behavior is bullshit. What are you protesting?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Yep, it is.
No one agrees with what happened there. We're all very happy to see the guy probably behind bars for a long time.
Yeah.
Good. He was a bad cop. The record shows as much. Thank God he's gone. And I'm sorry it took the death of this man to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree 100%.
Like, that's the real issue, is the fact, the real issue, if you want to talk about issues of police, I think there are issues with police, but they're nothing, it's not with the individual police. It's with the agency overall, and it's not that officers are racist, it's that the organization refuses to remove bad apples.
Yeah, they don't.
That's the issue with the police, and the DAs are complicit in that.
Yeah, and it's because of, like you said, you mentioned the DAs, and then also the police unions and stuff, that they are the ones that
I'm not as convinced about that, actually, having listened to some Dan Bongino comments. I think the unions actually have some pretty good facets to them for police. Well, for example, in New York, one of the things they were doing, for people that don't know, is that the police department, depending on which precinct you're in, they were requiring you to meet quotas. And some, different parts of the city, different departments had different standards for quotas, what you had to meet in terms of, ticketing people, citations and whatnot. But the union said that's illegal. Because you're telling them, first of all, it's illegal. The union said, listen, the cops don't want to do this. You're making them the enemy of the people. Because they're saying, they're going with people, and people are like, why are you ticketing me? This is so minor. It's like, yeah, but I got to meet a quota. So the people then go around thinking, the police are just out to make money. Well, that's because they are. From the top down, yes. But the individual police officers are not that way. And the unions stood up for them and said, listen, we don't want you enforcing quotas. I think they made some ground with that too. So I'd say there are good facets to police unions, okay? And I think unions on the whole are not necessarily entirely evil, but there's an issue with unions in certain sections of the economy where they really are awful. Like teachers' unions are abysmal, and I think that the police unions, they could be part of the problem for sure for protecting some bad apples, but I think the DAs are worse.
Oh yeah.
I think the DAs that look at these cases and go, I don't want to prosecute a fellow officer. I don't want to prosecute someone. I don't want to get involved in the DAs that are just too cowardly to go after people that are clearly bad. Because the other things, I don't think you have to prosecute them. If you think a police officer's done something bad, even if you think it's something illegal they've done, I don't see why. Because it's kind of like a mild corruption that I'm willing to accept. Just fire them. Just don't let them police. Blacklist them don't let them get rehired somewhere else. Just do not let them police.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, generally, I'd like to see people who do illegal things prosecuted. Period. The end. But the least you could do, if you want to play the corrupt cop, the least you could do as a public servant is get rid of these people that are causing problems.
Exactly.
Just fire them. That's all I'm asking, man. Just don't let them police me. Yep. So, there is legitimate problems with the police. You want to argue with them? Sure. But racism is not the problem.
No,
so shut up.
It's not.
It's not worth talking about. If it was worth talking about at some point, it no longer is.
Yeah, because that's not what they're arguing. Yeah, they're arguing that it's a racial issue, and it's not. It's not a racial issue at all. No.
So again, when the media gets all upset about these COVID numbers, like, dude, this is your fault. Like, you're the one that egged these people on.
Yeah, they did. 100%. They gaslit them. Yeah.
And this is the thing that I actually got kind of disappointed about with the riots. They started going into the CNN buildings, I think in Atlanta, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I wish they'd gone there and burned the place to the ground. I wish CNN would have gotten just a tiny taste of what they brought upon the local community.
Yeah.
About what them and their entire establishment, like the mainstream media, I wish they could get a taste of what they've done to local business owners by pushing this completely bullshit narrative.
Yeah. Right. And just to be clear, we are not advocating for violence, but at the same time,
I'm not advocating for anything. I'm saying that if they were going to, I'm saying that I want CNN to get a taste of its own medicine. I want these people to understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of their propaganda.
Yeah.
Or the end result of it, at the very least. I want them to understand what it's like. To have to fear for your life because people are spouting things that make no effing sense, but they're just so pissed off they want to kill you anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to feel seriously sorry for what they've done, but I don't think they ever will.
No, they never will, and they're never going to be upheld to the same. That they're never going to have to face the same. They're never going to have to deal with that ever. So moving past that, back to the COVID numbers. If you look at the actual COVID deaths and the cases and everything, which we are going to link. This is a really cool U.S. COVID tracker.
Yeah, we're going to link that for sure. It's actually quite nice.
It is.
By the way, remember earlier when I talked about the New York Times? Well, here it is.
Yep.
They get the number from the New York Times.
Yep.
So, Trump didn't cover this raging pandemic that he's failing to control. Well, let's see who's failing to control the pandemic, New York Times, by your own numbers.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like, according to that, and also Statistica.com.
As a warning to the New York Times, this is what happens when your propaganda departments are not on the same page. Get your crap together. If you're going to lie to us, can you do it more convincingly?
Yeah, 100%. Because if you look at the deaths, they've been steadily declining since April.
Now, what is your theory on that? Because I have two theories about that.
So,
I think New York. I think because New York is actually separate. I think New York is probably where one of the theories is more accurate versus the other. I would say there's two reasons for that. One, there's the possibility one is burned through the population. So people that were going to get really sick have gotten sick. That's part of it, I'd imagine. In New York, especially, I imagine it's a huge thing in New York. So
that's definitely.
You're getting towards herd immunity there.
Yeah.
And then I would say the other reason is that if you look at, no one talks about this. We've made some changes to how we treat people that have COVID.
Yes,
lie them on their stomach. Don't put them on a ventilator because that actually kills them.
Yep.
Remember Cuomo? We need 40,000 ventilators, or else you're killing my citizens. That is so rich from the dipshit that killed 30,000 people.
Yeah.
And didn't need the ventilators. Said it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, ventilators kill people. Now, that's actually, if anyone was already aware of how ventilators work, you knew that. Invasive ventilators, you put them on one of those, there's a good chance they're going to die anyway.
Yep.
Like, that's pretty last step. So,
yeah.
That was annoying. But the ventilator stuff is annoying. But I mean, that's, and tell me if you agree with that, I think the way we're treating this is improved. Wasn't it CNN came out a couple weeks ago and said said hydrochloroquine works?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, Trump said it did, and you didn't want to believe him. Now you're a couple months out from him saying that. He's not talking about it anymore, so now you can safely mention the fact that, it works.
Yep.
How many people died because you told them that it doesn't?
Exactly. That's
this is not a game I want to play anymore with these people. This is getting disturbing. Between the riots and between like the COVID coverage, how many people are dying because you're just that fucking stupid? With that much hatred in your heart towards this man that you can't just give honest reporting.
No, they can't do it. They just can't.
The advertisement money's too good. They need the ratings.
Yep.
That's why you look at Don Lemon 7 years ago and he's talking like freaking Candace Owens does, and now he talks like a goddamn Marxist.
Yeah.
Because the ratings, you need the ratings.
Yep.
By the way, look, they haven't seen that Don Lemon actually does this. Didn't think I'd ever say this. I agree with Don Lemon 7 years ago.
Yeah,
He actually had some good points about the black community. He was not putting all the blame on other people. He was making, here's points, here's things we need to fix.
Yeah.
That's perfectly respectable. A successful black man saying, listen, this is what I saw in my community that I didn't like.
Yep.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's what you need. Every community needs that. Every community needs someone within the community to come out and say, hey, listen, this is what you're doing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but now he's gotten such a, I guess, final stage of Trump transmission syndrome, as the Hodgmans put it.
Yeah.
To where he just can't admit that these things. He has to go with the crappy left wing narrative.
Yep. Yeah. And for sure. 100%.
Go ahead, Wyatt. Tell them who handled this the worst. Really, was it Trump that handled this the worst?
No.
Okay.
So.
Well, then, by all means, Wyatt, tell me who did the New York Times did handle it the worst?
Mr. Cuomo, the Fredo's brother, Mr. Fredo's brother, the governor of New York. New York has the most amount of deaths, total deaths, not per million, but total number of deaths.
Aren't they second per million?
Yes, they're second.
Now, here's the other thing. For the audience, would you consider New Jersey a part of New York for the purposes of like disease and whatnot? Like if you're tracking COVID, would you consider that part of the same like metroplex, part of the same area? Because I've regularly visited New Jersey. It's not hard to get to New York from there. You're right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people that went to New York. I had people in my family who daily went to New York for business.
Yep.
So they're just right there.
Yeah. So is it really no surprise that spread over the state line?
And that's one of the things where I'd say, like, actually, I might be able to give some leniency towards both of those governors, because as far as like the fact that their states are the worst, it's like, well, there's kind of some bleed over between those two areas. That maybe that area is just the worst.
Yeah.
Just maybe it's the hardest hit area of the country. But there's some policy problems there as well that I think need to be recognized.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that Cuomo decided to put people who were positive with COVID into nursing homes.
So did Murphy. New Jersey did the same crap.
Yeah. Yep. So
idiots, a lot of them.
Yep. 100%. And speaking of that, let's now move on. Let's
go to daily deaths real quick. Actually, let's talk about deaths for COVID, because people are be scared about deaths with COVID. Texas and Georgia and Florida, these evil reopening states, look how terrible they are with deaths. Would you like to know what the deaths were? Let me go ahead and reload this page real quick. Make sure we get the freshest data. Would anyone like to know what Texas's deaths were on July 10th? 92. Florida, 93. California, 111. New Jersey, 31. So New Jersey, here's the thing. New Jersey and New York, 31 for New Jersey, 25 for New York. Yeah. This is why I think this region of the country is different, because they have the most deaths overall. I think it's burned through their population. Like, actually, I think it's just gone through it.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
But look at Texas and the evil reopening states. California's doing worse than Texas and Florida today. Or yesterday, at least.
Yeah.
This is not a red versus blue issue. This is just a matter of, unfortunately, it's just a matter of, it's a disease. And yep. I'd say that the only red versus blue problem here is, did you lock down or did you not? And what were the results of that? Because in New York, it was 30,000 dead people. That's what the results were.
Yep.
You know what the total number of dead people in Texas is, Wyatt?
So, right now, it is...
we're in Texas for doing it. That's why we're going to talk about Texas.
Yeah. A little bit over 3,000.
Yeah, 3,129. Compared to 30,000. Sorry, 32,000. We are literally 10 times better than New York did. With a larger population.
Yes, exactly.
So if you want to talk about the differences between red and blue, lockdown versus not lockdown, I can tell you the damn differences. 10 times better, that's the difference.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, Texas is the worst.
Retards.
One of the worst. And so is Florida? Oh, really?
Total deaths in Florida. 4,100. What's their population? Same as New York's, right?
It's pretty close. It's pretty damn close. And
that was exactly the same as New York. Wasn't New York like 29 million? No, it's not. No. Sorry, 19 million in both of them, right?
Around there, I believe.
Yeah, sorry, 19 million in both Florida and New York, if I recall correctly. Although let's not do guesswork.
Yeah.
This is stupid. I'm just going to do a Google search. You can keep talking while I find the answer.
Yeah, of course. So they're freaking out about we're having so many cases. Yes, that was going to happen whenever we reopen, because since we don't
19 million for New York, and I think Florida's the exact same. So.
Okay. Yeah, so they have pretty much the same population, and yet Florida is still nearly 8 times.
Almost exactly 8 times better. Almost exactly 8 times better.
Yeah, 8 times better.
I was wrong about Florida. Florida has a population of 21 million.
So they have more people.
Yeah, more people, and they're still doing 8 times better. Yeah. So. Oh, did we talk about this in our last podcast? No, we didn't, because the last one was obviously the 4th of July one. Mm-hmm. Remember when Cuomo said that red states played politics for COVID and lost?
Yeah.
What are you on, and where can I get some?
Exactly, because
I'd love to be that far up my own ass that I can actually believe that. It's amazing.
It is amazing. It's crazy. It's insanity, man. I can't believe that he actually said that.
You know what? When we first talked about podcasting, I was pretty hesitant, but I gotta admit, ranting into a mic does feel fucking great.
It does. It feels great.
I'm glad I'm subjecting people to this. You deserve all of it.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so going back to the stats for a second, they're freaking out about the total number of cases that we're getting to, and the how much we're increasing the number of cases. That was going to happen anyways.
Yeah, there was no way of avoiding it. That was the whole point, right?
Yeah.
The lockdowns was just get the hospitals ready. Well, we did that.
Yep.
We got the hospitals so ready they're going out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the other thing, is like, why is it that everything you say you do the opposite? Mm-hmm. We're trying to get the hospitals ready. By what? Making them close down?
Yep.
They can't pay their staff because you won't let them do elective surgeries.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that help anyone?
It doesn't. And then, so also, they're freaking out about that.
The health of the American citizens by fucking over the health of the American citizens. It's like, just good God, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, they're freaking out about the total number of cases and then the total number of new cases that we're getting. And then you look at the new deaths; they're going down. They have gone down.
I think we're seeing a slight uptick in this last week or so, but the general trend is down.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that with a surge of cases? And I don't think there's really a huge surge. I think we're doing more testing as a lot of that.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of it.
Yeah, an increase in cases makes perfect sense. We had all those riots. And then we have, in the southern states, things are getting really warm. So now you're staying indoors more often. You're probably in closer contact with your family now than you were maybe during the earlier parts of this lockdown. So I'm not surprised that during the summer, when everyone's indoors, breathing recirculated air, that you're seeing more of this.
Yeah.
But why is that an open versus not open state issue?
Yeah, and also...
why is every issue with this virus political with them?
Yeah.
Because I'm not even saying policy. Right there, if you notice in my explanation, I did not talk about policy there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the red governors did anything better or worse. I'm saying it's a matter of fact. This is probably a change due to temperature. People they're spending more time inside right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not really good for the spread of the disease because you get more close quarters with individuals.
Yeah.
And then also there's the fact that, what was the other thing I alluded to? The riots. Yeah, the riots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the riots were pretty political, but I mean, the riots themselves were political, but talking about them's not. So large groups of people spread disease. Okay, cool. People being crammed inside spreads disease. Okay, cool. That makes sense. I don't have to use politics to explain what happens with a virus. Why is it that they have to? And why is it that they're wrong? Is this maybe propaganda?
That's exactly what it is.
On behalf of some socialist assholes?
Yeah.
And I mean socialist. I mean socialist, because communism, doesn't require the state. Proper communism wouldn't require the state. But to get towards communism, as Lenin said, socialism is a necessary step.
Yep.
Wyatt, I'm going to punt that cat if you don't get it out.
Sorry. So, yeah, 100%. And then...
I would make a field goal with your cat.
Gosh. That's terrible. And with the new daily deaths,
I'll play basketball.
Sure we are having... Oh my gosh. Let's move on. So, and with the deaths...
Your cat's about to be the next one receiving a fucking mail-in ballot.
God. Stop.
And that was funny and you know it.
It was funny. But let's stop. Okay? So, and the thing is...
Put in the comments if you agree with cat hatred.
Oh my gosh. The thing is with the COVID deaths is we are seeing a little bit of a surge in the past week, but it's not by much. It's literally by about maybe 50, 60 to 100 people.
So let's go over the last 2 weeks, right? Starting from okay, not in 2 weeks. I'm just gonna start from an easy date. June 20th, 18 deaths in Texas. 21st, 9. June 22nd, 18. 23rd, 33. 46, 29, 41. Mm-hmm. This general pattern continues until right about July 6th, I'd say. Now you're seeing 60 deaths, then 90 deaths, 119, 102, 92. Notice how none of that, almost none of that, was even a factor of 10.
Yeah.
Not an order of magnitude. I mean, this is not the increase we were told it was going to be.
No, because so many people for the past 2 weeks, when we've noticed, the downward trend, that it's been downward, over the past, since the lockdown started, we did, like we said, and like the stats show, we've generally been going down on deaths, but up in cases because of the rising number of tests. But I think
which is a good thing. You think that'd be something we talk about?
Exactly.
More positive but less deaths means the virus isn't as deadly. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah. 100%.
Not if you have a political agenda to push. Then it would be terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And then also...
And that goes for the right-wingers, too. I'm a right-winger, but I am making hay on the deaths of these people in New York City. I'll admit it. I definitely did that. So, but realistically speaking, isn't less death a good thing? If we're going to remove the politics from the situation, shouldn't we be praising the direction this is going?
Yes, we should.
Because again, I'll admit, I tried to make hay off the death of those people in New York and New Jersey, which I do think was a matter of policy. I think a certain amount of that, I'd say half of it probably, was a matter of policy. The other half was they just got hit really hard out of the blue. They were the first area to really receive hard, just get really hit, smacked with it.
Yep.
But there's a policy issue that also occurs there, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
But, I mean, everyone wants to play politics with this, including us, and I would like to see... But here's the deal. People on our side of the aisle, us included, are much more happy to see the deaths going down than people on the other side of the aisle. And that just strikes me as an odd hatred of humanity.
Yeah.
This idea that you either a hatred or just total use. They don't have any use for us. We're better as bodies to them than we are as human beings.
Get our vote.
That's true. We have to die for them to get our vote. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's crazy. And also another thing, if we're gonna look at the whole United States as far as deaths, right? We have been on a really, really steady decline. For the most part,
totally honest about deaths in the United States, this red versus blue thing, all the deaths are concentrated in high population areas.
Yep.
Like just straight up, like population density is obviously playing a role in this.
It is. It 100% is. And
that's not even a red versus blue thing. Again, trying to remove this from politics.
Yep.
Like some of these deaths are consistent. Now, I would say where red versus blue does come into effect is when you look at 30,000 versus 3,000.
Yeah, and
there's something in there that needs to be looked at, especially when the people with 3,000 deaths have like 10 million more people.
Yeah.
Like again, Texas is population density wise not quite the same as New York, like at all.
Yeah.
But we have certain centers in Texas that are ridiculously common. Like, I'm in the DFW area. I mean, Central Texas. Look at Austin. Look at it's Austin, San Antonio, Houston. We have areas in this country that are in this state that are quite dense, and they're not. I know in this country. Well, to be fair, Texas is the best country, but
yeah.
And we're not seeing numbers like this. There's got to be a reason for that.
Yep, there has to be.
There's got to be a significant factor at play there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually, strangely enough, I'd be willing to put public transportation is a huge part of it.
Possibly, yeah.
In Texas, we don't really believe in that. Like, it's just not something you see a lot of people doing. Whereas, I guess in New York and New Jersey metro area, yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it is definitely everywhere.
That probably plays a significant role, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. And plus, we know the subways were open for a long time.
For a long time.
It's not okay to go mourn to have a Jewish funeral in the middle of the streets, but if you want to pack yourself into a sardine can and French homeless people, you go do you, man.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, God dang it, de Blasio. God dang it. Oh, yeah. Man.
But anyways, there have been obviously like we've been saying, a huge decline in deaths, and there have only been there have been some spikes here and there, but the biggest one since May was June 25th. And
that's not even like a general thing, because that's like one state. So yeah, we'll talk about this.
Which is what I'm.
The weirdest spike we've seen, aside from that one day in New York where they added 3,000 deaths for no reason, because they didn't test any of those people. We still don't know. You know what I mean? Those weren't tested.
Yeah.
Those aren't positive cases. We don't know for a fact if those people actually died of COVID. Just like I said, June 25th.
So on June 25th, there was a massive uptake. Well, I guess.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, a massive uptake in deaths by almost, a little bit, like almost 1,500 up in deaths. And do we want to take a guess as to which? No,
it's actually 1,900.
Oh yeah, closer to 1,900.
Closer to 19. So it's closer to 1,900.
Yeah. It's a really big uptick in deaths.
Can the audience guess which region of the country this might have come from? Was it the evil red states, the opening states? Where might this have come from? Tell them, Wyatt. Tell them. Let the people know. New
Jersey.
Surprise, surprise. Worst by, isn't it per million deaths? Like population per million, per capita, they have like the worst deaths.
Yeah. And
8 million people with 15,000 dead.
Yeah. No. So here they had that on June 25th, they had 1,877 deaths.
You know what the previous day was? 46. The previous day was 40. So this is a subcategory for this particular talk on coronavirus. Can someone explain to me what the F happened on June 25th?
Yeah, for real.
Because that's insane.
What the hell was going on in New Jersey that day?
Like, what happened that caused you to go from 46 to 1,877?
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me what happened? I'd love to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's bonkers, man. That is insane. And it feels to me like New York did when they added that 3,000.
Yeah.
And didn't quite double. It's added a third of their death count, which is in one day. And it's because of the people that hadn't been tested. Were these people tested? Is this what we're seeing? Just
maybe
presumed deaths by COVID? What is up with the Massive increase in that one day. And then you know what the day right after that was?
What?
42.
Yep. So it went down
What
back
the
down.
hell? Is COVID like more organized than we are? It's June
Apparently.
25th, time to kill people in Jersey.
Yeah. And let's iterate this more, right? What was the second highest that day? It was California. And do you know how many deaths they had?
June
82.
25th.
They had 82 deaths. So the second highest number of deaths that day, after New Jersey, which had almost 1,900 deaths, was 82 deaths.
California, yeah, that makes sense.
And it was in California. 82 deaths. Think about how big of a difference that is from almost 1,900 deaths.
We had 29 deaths in Texas that day.
Yeah.
29 versus almost 9. So basically 30 versus 1,900.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So we're shooting in New Jersey.
So
basically.
when you see this, you go and look at the graph, and you're like, this massive spike we expect at the end of June because of these evil reopening states, and you're like, there it is. Look at the graph; it's right there. No, that is one day from one state.
Yep.
No other day looks like that.
No.
So if you're looking at the end of June and thinking, well, guys, you're wrong. There's a massive spike right there. No, that's all New Jersey.
Yeah.
What the actual fuck happened in New Jersey on June 25th? Exactly. I really need to know.
Yep.
Do they just do they just go like, hey, listen, CNN just called us, like they call out local hospitals, and we need you to put your patients up against the wall and shoot them?
Yep.
And if you just like write COVID and all the bullets so we can say they were killed by COVID, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, what the f happened that day?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised no one's talking about that, because that's just insane. Because remember when New York did that? New York added 3,000 in a day, and everyone talked about it. Like on the right side of the L, everyone was on top of that. Like, well, they just added 3,000 in one day, and none of them were tested. Why aren't we talking about this?
Yeah.
This is comparable.
Yeah, it is.
That day, there were 2,400 deaths. 1,900 of them were from New Jersey.
Yeah.
What the F?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. This is a state of 8 million people. That is insane.
Yeah, it is. All right, so I think we've
hammered this. Have we exhausted that?
Enough. Yeah, I think we've hammered it enough.
Wait, one more time. What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, now we can move on.
All right, so next topic. Ilhan Omar.
Bitch. Slut.
United States
Jew hater. Incestuous money laundering piece of shit.
Gosh.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I've said my bit.
Let's get it all out. Okay, so Ilhan Omar, who is part of the leftist
squad.
The squad. Yep.
The squad.
The very popular left-wing group of senators / congresswoman.
Yeah, because she has a vagina and she doesn't look white. Like, let's just be honest. Why people care?
Yeah, but
so they're all freshman members of Congress, as far as I can tell.
Yep.
That's the big deal. Freshman members, people of color, they're women, they're young, they all hate America. So it's that people like to talk about them.
Yeah, and one of them, so the one that we're going to be talking about. And
what's funny? There's a staggering difference between these people. Like Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. Like, I think they're probably the smartest of the four. But even amongst them, Ilhan Omar is clearly the smarter.
Yeah, she is. But she's also a really bad, obvious
rabid anti-Semite. Yeah, she sucks.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Saying things along the lines of, "Oh, it's all about the Benjamins," talking about, I
don't even mind that as much, actually. For me, that's kind of like, it is what it is. She says it's all about money, which I think is ridiculous, and I think she's referring to Jewish money, but...
yeah, that's exactly what she's
for me, her saying that, that some people did something... You mean 9/11?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
It's pretty bad.
The way she giggles at Al-Qaeda. It's like, oh my god, could you not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, she's back in the news over the past this past week for a couple of things. So the first one is it has now came out that she paid $878,000 to her new husband's consulting firm.
Oh, wait, this is the boyfriend she was dating. before she had a divorce with her previous husband.
Yep.
So
Who was her brother, by the way?
No, he wasn't. She was
married to her brother.
Well, there's 3 guys we're talking about here. Her brother, who she was married to for a portion of time, so she can commit immigration fraud. Mm-hmm. Then her actual husband, who she had kids with, and then the boyfriend that she's been dating.
That now she's married to.
Yeah. Oh my
she got married to in March.
So, yeah, slut, incestuous slut.
It's just within the span of how many years? 2 years?
It's all pretty. Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's more than that with the brother stuff, but with the husband and boyfriend thing, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
But yeah, she's paid almost $1 million to her husband since 2018.
Yep, since 2018.
And you might be thinking, well, that's not so bad. It was a consulting firm. It was for work. But since he's making the profit and they're married, she's paying herself, if you hadn't figured that one out. She's paying herself $1 million.
Yeah.
The question is, how much of that is profit? How much of this profit? How much of that went straight into her account? That would just be the question. How much of that is literally money she just straight took? That'd be the really interesting question.
Yep, 100%. And with that, so
this is the woman that thinks America is evil and disgusting, while she just sucks it of its resources like a damn vampire.
Yeah. So
like ungrateful bitch.
Speaking on that a little bit, so to break down the numbers a little bit, so $878,000 since 2018, $292,000 of that was in the first quarter of this year.
$250,000. Well, actually, almost more than that. About $300,000.
Almost 1/3 came from this year.
More than 1/3.
No,
you're roughly right at 1/3.
Yeah,
from this year, when she married,
and
this boyfriend of hers, by the way.
Not just and keep in mind that's from the first quarter. That's not even from the first half of the year. From the first quarter of the year.
Yeah, which is when she was having apparently this affair and all stuff came to light and whatnot. Divorce, and then in March she marries this dude.
Yep.
So, oh my god.
Yeah.
You thought Bill Clinton was bad. Whew.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, it's crazy, man. And then, so the other thing that she did.
I wonder what she does with cigars. I wonder what she does with cigars.
I don't know. I kind of do as well.
Yeah, I don't want to explain that. So, did you get that reference?
No, I didn't.
I called her Bill Clinton, and then I said, I wonder what she does with cigars.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Because we know what Bill Clinton does with cigars.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that she was in the news for this week was she openly called for the dismantling of our economy and our political systems, as long as they serve as a quote-unquote system of oppression. Tell me this.
Someone immigrates from a largely Islamic area of the country, swears her oath on a Quran, puts on, wears her headdress in there, and we say, oh, she's a U.S. Congresswoman, while she advocates for the dismantling of America. It's like, did you not realize you elected a terrorist? Like, you must have known, right? She's up there going, we should dismantle America. It's like, didn't you do your oath on a Quran?
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. If you're going to swear an oath to America on the Quran, well, obviously you're just deceiving people.
Yeah.
Because those two things don't go together.
Yeah.
Ask Thomas Jefferson. Let's talk about the history of the Quran in the United States real quick. We're talking about Islam in the United States, because I think it's interesting that she is obviously Muslim. She obviously doesn't give two F's about America. And she's not even a good Muslim, by the way. She actually is not adhering to her religion very well. Look at the way she handles, the relationships and whatnot. No, she's not even an honest Muslim. There's literally millions of exceptionally good Muslims who, no problem, good people.
Yep.
She's not one of those people. She's more firmly on the, as she might say, Al-Qaeda side of things. So it's interesting because like Thomas Jefferson talked about how he never bought a Quran until he went and had that, tried to do like a peace treaty with these, or negotiations with these pirates that were attacking them in the Mediterranean. And he's like, well, what are you attacking us for? Well, because our Quran says to. You guys are infidels. We got to kill you. So he buys a Quran, he reads the Quran, calls it disgusting. So, I mean, go back to our founding fathers and principles we like, not the Quran.
Yeah.
Don't like the Quran. I have a copy of it on a bookshelf. I can tell you right now, I don't like that book.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the ideas being expressed in there.
Yep.
I mean, maybe you don't like everything in the Bible, but the Bible isn't telling you to consistently telling you to hate non-believers.
Yeah.
Quran's pretty consistent about it. Condemns them regularly. Like every page I've found thus far has some condemnation of non-believers. So,
yep. But yeah,
it's astounding that we're going to talk about more about Islam. It's like it's a this thing. It's not even just a religion. It's a system of government. They run theocracies.
Yeah.
In the Middle East, at least, there are other majority Muslim countries that don't do theocracies, but they're not in the Middle East.
Yep.
But they do in the Middle East. They do theocracies. That is not. So when she says, "I want to dismantle the U.S. systems of government and economics," okay, for what? Because if you're saying that, I assume you mean you want to literally put Syria in power or in Iran.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't Syria one of those few that is non-theocratic? The guy just happens to be a dictator.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But anyway, she's like, yeah, I'd rather go... It sounds to me that she'd rather go with the Iran model, which is something I'm not a fan of.
Well, obviously.
But what does she mean by that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because she's obviously using social justice and whatnot, but she's supposedly Muslim.
Yeah.
So you don't believe in women's rights. You definitely don't believe in that. Don't believe in gay rights, for sure. So what do you mean by oppressive?
Yeah. Well, what exactly is oppressive? Can you point to what system?
Well, what does she think she means by that? Is this pandering to the left? Does she actually believe that? It sounds more like pandering to the left to me.
Yeah, that's what it
she
sounds
recognized, like most Muslims have, that the left wing in America is their ally for the moment.
Yeah.
Like most Islamic terrorists have. I want to be correct here. There are a lot of good Muslims.
Yes, there are.
Probably because they don't actually adhere to the book. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, because
they've decided not to adhere to certain sections, which is for the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously we can all agree that telling people to go out and commit really egregious moral acts is wrong.
Yeah, most people get behind that.
Yep. Yeah.
Except for Maxine Waters. She's wholly on board with telling you to go do terrible things.
Yeah, except for her.
You see them at a gasoline station. You get out of your car. And you make a crowd. God damn it, Maxine.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I really have to say about her.
She sucks.
Yeah, literally. Alright. So now let's move on. What's next? It's the economy, right?
The economy.
The economy
is good. Moving on.
This. No, hold on. So
good we got the Washington Post to confirm.
Yeah. Yep. So according to the Washington Post and all the job numbers and everything, we added 4.8 million jobs in June.
No. I'm just looking at this picture they have in the article.
Oh yeah.
There's that one dude just staring right at the camera.
Yeah.
Just like the deadpan look on his face. He's just so done with you guys.
Yeah.
It's just like a Washington Post camera, and he's like, really?
Yep. He's like, really? Yeah. But
it's kind of like a Kanye face to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of feels like that sort of condemnation.
Yeah. So we added 4.8 million jobs in June, which is a record. That's never been done before. 4.8 million jobs. That's insane.
Even when the economy is in record crash, it's also like in record levels of awesome stuff happening.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. And we are making a V-shaped recovery. If you look at the Dow Jones,
I think if you get rid of the lockdown policies, I don't think it's a question. We'd make a huge V-shaped recovery. These numbers are pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
What was it, like 2 million jobs in May, and now it's 4.8 in June?
Yeah.
That's pretty V-shaped to me. That is straight uphill.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And if you look at the Dow Jones, even at the lowest point that has been in Trump's presidency which was March 23rd, it was at 18,591, which is still higher than most of Obama's presidency.
I don't know if that's relevant. It's lower than now. So even the lowest point in Trump's presidency is not even near this. Like, what are we, like 26 right now?
Yeah, we're at 26. His lowest point was 18,591.
Yeah, so yeah, we're literally like, what is that, 8,000 points up from the worst point in his presidency.
Yeah.
So like, stop freaking out. We're doing way better than people would like to admit, and we're seeing a reemergence of these jobs. We're seeing the economy come back, and if these Democrats would just move out of the way, it'd be happening faster.
Yep.
And while the thing is, remember in May when we saw 2 million jobs increase, and you didn't see a massive explosion in COVID?
Yep.
People going back to work, and look at that, COVID's not killing them.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, I don't think COVID's a hoax. I think the response to it has been, though.
Yeah.
I think the propaganda on behalf of it's been ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
You know, there's about 100. I'm willing to say about 100,000 deaths right now because I think the numbers are overblown.
Yeah.
About 25% of those deaths I think are bullshit. I think that's just people that died with COVID. They were counted as having COVID.
Yeah.
And as of dying of COVID, I mean. And the CDC's and Colorado study they did basically confirms that for me. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I am of the opinion, and you're welcome to disagree with me, that 25% of the deaths are bullshit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely
Now,
possible.
we also know that just as a matter of fact, this is less deadly for children than the flu is.
Yes, exactly.
So schools need to reopen. Certain businesses need to reopen. I mean, if you have a single population that has less of a chance of dying of this than from flu, why is this the world-ending pandemic?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. If there's anyone on Earth that is less likely to die of this than the flu, any population at all, how the hell could this be as severe as we're being told it is?
Yep.
Because it's not.
It's not.
You are slightly more at risk than the flu with this. So, go out, live your life.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah.
French random people on the streets, you'll be happier.
Yeah, definitely. The economy is making a recovery, already back up to 26,000, which is crazy. That's crazy, man.
Oh, by the way, if you haven't invested yet, you need to. This stock market will continue to get better.
It will.
But inflation might be a problem.
Yeah.
So stocks, get gold, get Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you want to do. Put some money somewhere where inflation's not going to hurt anywhere near as bad.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good idea. I do plan on doing that definitely in the next 6 months.
Next 6 months.
We can talk about more about the specifics on that off air.
One day you will have money to invest with Wyatt. I believe in you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll throw you $1. Buy some Bitcoin.
Hey, it's something.
It'll be worth $2 next year.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
All right. Are we pretty much?
I think people know that. I think people understand that. Like, have a gut feeling for that in the economy, because I've been feeling that too. I think if people that are going to work now, or you go out and you see the traffic's increasing, you see these businesses are opening up, you see that there's more services now. Amazon's delivering more stuff than it was before. Because there was a time during this pandemic where you couldn't get Amazon deliveries for like a week. Well, now I can get one whenever I want. So I'm seeing like an increase of productivity in the economy. I think it's hard to miss.
100%.
And I don't think it's a great shock to people that it's happening under Trump. And this is another question I have people that intend to vote, or maybe that are undecided at this point. Remember the last time we had a basically artificial crash for the economy that was caused by crappy government ideas and crappy stuff done on parts of certain businesses? Remember who presided over that recovery? Barack Obama and Joe Biden. You've seen 8 years of that. You've seen 8 years of trying to have a economic recovery under Biden. Damn it! Now I sound like Biden. Under Biden and Obama. You also saw 3 years of Trump. Which would you prefer? 8 years. You had 8 years of Obama data, which Vice President Biden presided over.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 3.5 years of Trump economic policy. Which of these two policies do you think gets us further faster? Think about it.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Food for thought.
Yep. We will close the book right there. All right, so the next topic is Kanye. And we're going to dive more into this next week because
I want some more details to come out.
we want some more details to come out about his campaign, and then also we want to think about like if he doesn't actually end up running in 2020, because he says that he's not sure if he's going to be in 2020 or 2024.
I want a 2024 thing.
Yeah,
I want him to start campaigning right now for 2024. That would be awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it would, for sure. Which might end up being that way. And we can talk about more about that in the 2024. We want to talk about that more next week whenever more stuff comes out. And then along with that, maybe talk about who, aside from Kanye, we might want to see run.
We'll go over some of that. I mean, interesting election talk. But yeah, Kanye's running.
Yeah. So, and we've read some of his proposals, and it's actually pretty good.
I mean, he just feels like Trump to me. You know, reality TV star, billionaire, great at branding, crazy on Twitter. It just feels like another version of Trump, and I can't help but be down with that.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see.
Yep. Yeah.
We will, however, link an article if you're interested in finding out more about Kanye. I mean, we've read it. Yep. It's interesting, but I'm going to wait to talk about it some more. The interesting thing is just that he is running. That's the interesting news for the week.
Yeah,
he is running, or they're considering running quite seriously. So yeah. I think we want to wrap up today with actually getting right back around to Trump's speech about Rushmore. But this is going to be a segment over Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
Wyatt, you have some thoughts about this?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. So let me crack my knuckles. Oh, you couldn't hear it, but okay. So Tucker Carlson on his nightly show this week, he criticized a congresswoman or senator, Tammy Duckworth, who is a veteran who lost her legs in combat, which I appreciate her sacrifice. I'm going to start off with saying that. Now, he criticized her because... I'd appreciate
it more if she wasn't stupid.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to get into that in a second. So, he criticized her because she was interviewed, and she was asked how she felt about people wanting to remove statues of, say, George Washington. And she said that she thinks that we should listen to the arguments for it, which is an insane contention. That is insanity. It's insane.
I don't know how insane it is. I'd say that it's okay to listen to the arguments, but the idea, I mean, at least pause it in there that you think it's a bad idea. Like, come on. Yeah. If you want to say let's have a public debate, that's the default position of any politician. You should at least be for public debate. But please make the point that is insane.
Yeah.
At least make that clear.
Exactly. And she didn't. She just...
No, she did not. She didn't even try.
No, not even close. And so, Tucker Carlson, I don't know why I said Chris. Tucker Carlson, he criticized her and for not really evaluate or not for not damn it, what's the word I'm looking for?
Condemning it, probably.
Yeah, or not really condemning, like, oh yeah, I think we should talk about it, but there was no but in there.
I guess he literally said, when Duckworth does speak in public, you're reminded what a deeply silly and unimpressive person she is. Yeah, that about sums it up right there.
Pretty much, yeah. And then he also criticized her for, I'm not sure if this was at the next night, but he also criticized her for something that may or may not have happened, because she was accused in 2016 of ignoring some stuff going on with the VA where veterans were being abused.
Oh, I'm willing to believe that, though, because on a base level, the VA sucks.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. Any allegations against the VA, I'm almost 100% inclined to believe, because they're not great.
Oh, okay. So that was actually after whenever he criticized her for that as well. So after
he made a follow-up comment on his previous show where he was, because she had talked about, Tucker Carlson want to walk a mile on my legs and tell me whether or not I love America. Using the crutch of your entry, lying on that to make or they're putting that in place of an argument is stupid. You're using like a crutch, which is ironic because you don't have legs, but using it like a crutch. But the thing is, that's not an argument. He criticized what you said, not what you... Exactly. You're not criticizing your service. He says, what you said proves you're a silly and unimpressive person. He's not wrong about that.
Yeah, and then he also said he questions how much of a how much she loves America, which is a fair criticism, because what are we supposed to think whenever you're out here
entertaining ideas of removing George Washington from our life, from public squares?
That's deeply un-American. Deeply un-American.
George Washington's like the most American thing you can find. Period. The end.
Exactly.
Founds the damn country. Leads it to the Revolutionary War. Is probably our best president.
Yes.
Like, gives up power voluntarily. He's so American, dude.
He is.
Like, I don't care about your legs blown off in war. This dude literally fought the revolution. Shut the F up.
Yeah. And then...
Okay, I'm sorry. I do care. I'm sorry you suffered.
Yeah.
But that is not an argument.
It's not an argument.
It's not an argument. Especially not an argument against George Washington. If you serve this country and you think that your military service proves you love this country, then stand up and say how much you would love George Washington, because his military service definitely proves he loves this country. He built the damn country on his military service.
He did.
Shut the hell up.
Yep, exactly. And so, she said, does he want to walk a mile in my legs and tell me whether or not I love America? And then he responded the next night, and he said that she questioned our right to criticize her at all because she was once injured in combat. That's what passes an argument in the modern identity politics, which is 100% true.
Now, I think the right has done this as well, but this is where Tucker's really consistent. Tucker will criticize anyone. And
who does this? Who does that in this way and claims that it's an actual argument when it's not?
Well, the right will do similar things too. Like, right, when you talk about like Dan Crenshaw, he make jokes about his eye and whatnot, people get upset about that. But the reason people got upset about it is because it was a joke. Like, it was a bad joke. It wasn't an argument,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You weren't... So, that wasn't... If Tucker was making an actual argument, the argument had nothing to do with her military injuries whatsoever.
It didn't.
It did nothing to do with it. It had to do with what she said.
Exactly. It had nothing to do with her military service or her injury. It had to do specifically with what she said. And so and he made valid criticisms, and then that's when he called her grotesque, a moron, and a vandal, which
pretty good.
Yeah, and then that's when he said, she's also a fraud, and a callous hack who ignored the suffering of other veterans, who is when it actually mattered.
Callous hack, I actually do agree with, because didn't she have a different position on this like a couple years ago, and that was one of the other things you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is how she didn't. She had a different position on like Washington and Mount Rushmore and all this.
She dressed up
as Mount Rushmore, right?
Rushmore.
Yeah. So she had a different opinion on this when the politics were in her favor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she is a hack.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing that disgusts me the most about this is the fact that she tried to use her veteran status and her injuries that were combat related as an argument. That pisses me off to no end, because I am also a veteran, right? I did my service, but this is, I would never use that as a political tool or not a tool, but a political shield to say, nope, you can't criticize me because I'm a veteran. That is bullshit of the highest order. Everyone, if you are in the public light, if you are a senator, if you are a public figure at all, you are subject to scrutiny.
If you say stupid crap about America, why would you be exempt from being criticized?
Right, that's definitely the case. But I'm saying on a more broad spectrum.
No, I'm just saying, from this particular topic, when you're saying stupid crap about America, why are you even remotely shocked or offended that people have a problem with that?
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And it just upsets me to no end that she used this as a political shield. It pisses me off because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It doesn't make me as mad because it's like I don't expect anything different.
Right, but for me, I have a personal stake in this as a veteran. It makes me so sick to see people using that as a political shield, because that is not something that you do with your service.
And then you have examples of people not doing that. Like, again, this is where I think Dan Crenshaw is great at this. Veteran, lost his right eye. He, as far as I can tell, when interviews are done, when he's attacked and whatnot, he doesn't use that.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, the only time I saw him do that, I think, was on like one of these shows, whatever or not. Said Trump's attacking the press or something attacking. He's like, be careful about how we use the word attack, because I've literally been attacked.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually just a good point. You're using the word wrong. But yeah, I mean, if you want to say people refer to the military service and political conversations, fine. But to say, I got injured in the line of duty, which means I obviously love this country, it's like, I don't think that is obvious, actually.
It's not. Especially not from her statements.
Because, I was under the impression that John McCain was also a war hero. And if you recall, he spat in his constituents' face to spite Trump.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a love of the country. So don't pretend like we haven't seen ex-military personnel do crappy things.
Yeah.
That's kind of the norm. People in politics do crappy things. Just so happens a lot of people in politics were ex-military.
Yeah.
That's a very common thing. I mean, it's not as common as it was a couple decades ago, but it's pretty common.
It is. 100%.
Tulsi Gabbard. Ex-military. Yeah. She's ex-military. And she's a veteran, and she has some opinions I don't like, that I think are stupid. Mm-hmm. That I think are not particularly pro-America.
Yep.
Specifically on some of the gun stuff. But I mean, like...
Mm-hmm.
Even then, she's not using her service as an excuse to avoid criticism, which is why Tulsi Gabbard is a way better... Again, Tulsi Gabbard and Dan Crenshaw are great examples of people who did serve, who used their military service to inform their opinions on foreign policy, but don't use it as like a...
As a shield.
As a shield, or as something to bludgeon people to death with in a political argument. Oh, well, I got injured in combat. You can't criticize me. I mean, they don't attack people's character because the people that were... Because they're veterans and they were being criticized. They don't, because she's attacking his character. She's saying that you're being, you're. I mean, I don't know exactly what she's saying specifically. She's basically calling him evil because he's criticizing someone that was injured in the line of service, saying that he doesn't care about the troops. I guess would be the
that's basically what she's trying.
It's not what he's doing though. He's criticizing your crappy comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And it just gets me so heated because it just is very aggravating to me that people would do that, because you're supposed to, whenever you serve this country for whatever reason, it's my opinion that you do it out of love for this country, and sure, people have higher or more they're more prideful or whatever, but at the same time,
no, you're doing your role, man. Don't finish your sentence.
I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I kind of pulled a Biden there.
Yeah, you did. Okay, I'll finish it for you. If you serve this country, you didn't do it because you wanted to use it as a political weapon.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the way she's presenting it. She seems to be like, when she gets the opportunity, she goes, "Well, I served the country and I got injured." That is not why you serve this country. You did not serve this country so in a political argument later on you could be a bitch about it.
Exactly. You serve this country to
either a respect for the military and for America and a love for it, or because you wanted the opportunities that it could provide. Either way, this is a ridiculous way to conduct yourself after you've left the military. It's actually insulting to people that are currently in the military, because now you've kind of lowered my opinion of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me to be totally honest, like, I wonder how many more people in the military are like you. They're going to come out of it and they're going to use their former military status as a way to shame people into silence, which is a disgusting use of that. That's not what the military is for. It's to protect our rights.
Yep, not to
shame people into silence.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of annoying.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, thanks, Andrew.
I swooped in and saved you.
That's exactly what I was hitting.
So it's just kind of gross to see it done that way. Again, are we making too much out of it? Possibly. Mountains out of molehills, for sure. It does irritate our sensibilities. Like, if you want to say this is the closest to, like, we'll say where we were offended, it's like, we actually like the military. Yeah. On the right, we tend to deeply respect them. It's disgusting when you do that.
Yeah, it really is.
It's actually an affront to my sensibilities. I can't believe it, Wyatt, but I'm offended. Granted, I'm not surprised, and she has the right to say it.
Yeah, she definitely. I agree. She definitely has the right to say it. The problem is, it
makes you look like a piece of shit, and we just want you to know.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So no, thanks again for.
Oh, and by the way, if you serve this country and you love this country, how the fuck did you end up a Democrat? I'm sorry, that was a little rude.
Okay.
But I do agree with that. Like, how the hell did you end up there?
Yeah.
I love this country. That's why I'm going to advocate for its destruction. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm confused.
Yeah, it is pretty confusing.
I guess, but from her point of view, she's probably. I mean, to be fair, she's probably not like a super radical Democrat. I'd be willing to believe.
Yeah, probably not.
Because she wasn't even saying we should tear it down. She was saying let's have the debate. So she is more moderate than. I thought that's a moderate position. Now we should talk about removing George Washington. I thought that's a moderate position. Good God.
Yeah.
That tells you a lot. But
Yeah, it does.
she is. Again, I don't think she's rabidly anti-American. But that's also not the point Tucker was making. He said your statement was stupid, and it does show a lack of respect for America.
Yeah, it does.
Now, if you want to say you still love the country, I'm sure you do. But your idea of love for this country is very different from ours. Because when we say we love this country, we mean we love the people that founded it, we love the ideas it's founded upon, we love the people currently in it. Now, if your idea of love for this country is you love the people currently in it and you just want to improve it, fine. And to that end, you want to have public debate. I can understand that. But it's kind of weird to say that you love this country and then not like fervently defend George Washington, who was not political. He didn't have a right. He wasn't right or left. I mean, he was probably more right wing in today's standards, but he wasn't a Democrat or Republican. He just happened to be our first president. He was our military leader through the majority of the Revolutionary War. Yeah. I mean, that's what he was. He was just a war hero who was our president, our first president, and one of the best.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
This was before political parties, so there shouldn't be a game to play here. We should all agree he was good.
Yep, 100%.
But for some reason, we don't.
Yeah.
Well, he was a slave owner. It's like, oh, gee. Because that was abnormal at the time.
Yeah.
That was some special evil only he was committing. It's like, shut the F up, man.
Yep.
Plus, he freed his slaves upon his death, which, if I'm correct, you couldn't free them at other times. Like, under the British Crown, for a while at least, you were not allowed to free your slaves until you had died.
Yeah.
I don't know if that continued in the state where he was. I'm not sure totally if his state legislation had kept that rule, because the king would not allow him to. I think he tried, didn't he? Or Jefferson had tried to release his slaves.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
I think it might have been both of them actually. Might have tried.
Yeah, it might have been both of them.
I'll have to double check. And and I was pretty sure the crown had said no, can't do that until your death. So, taken in that light, he freed them as soon as he possibly fucking could.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, if you want to talk about some horrible people, I'd say, his wife was kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
She refused to get rid of her slaves.
Yep.
She was definitely pro-slavery. So, I mean, again, but people are complicated. People are walking contradictions. Yep. But that's not what we celebrate him for. We don't celebrate him for owning slaves. We celebrate him for building the country that freed the slaves. That gives so many people freedom and opportunity. We celebrate him for his amazing accomplishments, military accomplishments against the most powerful military in the world at the time, that allowed us to be a free and independent people. And I don't know why we have to sit here and pretend that he was bad. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to pretend that. I'm not going to sit here and even humor the idea that he might have been bad. I don't think he was. No. And I don't celebrate him for the things that he did do wrong. Because he's a human being. Of course he did things that were wrong.
Exactly. Nobody's
But
perfect.
I'm not celebrating him for that. I'm celebrating him for the good that was done by him.
Exactly.
So why are we entertaining these discussions of tearing anyone's statue down?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. This is pretty much...
I'm not ready to stop. We're going to continue.
All right.
I want to go back over the list real quick. We've hit upon 10 points.
Yep.
We've number of different topics. But, this was our first podcast. We tried to do a multitude of topics here, bounce around a little bit. If you think we did it well, please comment. If you think we suck,
also tell us.
Yep. I mean, well, maybe keep it to yourself, actually. But
well, if you have any actual valid criticism, definitely put that down.
That's kind of opinion-based. Just if you have something to say that's substantive, put it out there. I don't want insults.
Yeah.
If you have a substantive complaint, put it out there.
Yeah.
And I'll be sure to ignore it.
And then also, in addition to the article that we got the stuff from with the Tucker Carlson Senator Duckworth thing, we also linked the video from the second night where he responded, which kind of captures like the timeline.
All right. Well, yeah, that is the other thing. If we talk about something, we have a link for it.
Yeah.
With the exception of Gun of the Month, that requires no link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then if we did forget any, let us know, and then we'll get a link, and then we'll comment the link. I will add it.
Actually, there are some things I mentioned, some things I referenced that I probably didn't put links in for, but general topics. Yeah. If you have anything you'd like resources for, any points I made that you think were interesting and need to be expanded upon, please comment.
Yep, and let us know.
Also, as far as the length of the podcast goes, I think we're probably getting close to 2 hours here.
Yeah, we are. Almost.
Right, cool. Almost exactly. So we're going to try and end this at exactly 2 hours. If you think that length is too long, our initial special was 1. Please let us know. We'll try and condense it.
Yeah.
We'll try. We probably won't get anywhere with that.
Probably not. But, you know, it is what it is. All right. Any last words?
No.
No?
No.
All
I
right.
think we wrapped it up nicely. Wyatt, would you like to give our closing?
Yep. So, once again, this was the first episode of the Peak Politics podcast. Thank you for watching, if you've made it this far, and see you next week.
All right.